My dear friends, I'm super excited to be here with you today. It's a huge topic we talk about today. It's really about starting today because tomorrow is not guaranteed and life is too short. I know it might sound a little bit like a morbid topic. Please stay with me, stick here with me. I know these sessions tend to be a bit heavy on a educational side and trying to share these frameworks with you and give you a little piece of inspiration and positivity so you really have the time and opportunity to implement it at your own time and your own space. Again, I want to thank you for being here, being the learner, being the awesome human being and achiever that you are. I know it's not easy nowadays to really pick, as I call it, a spear of opportunity, throw it as far as possible, run behind it fantastically and frenetically, if you will, really with enthusiasm and zest for life, and do your best. Because sometimes there are days when we are a little bit more relaxed, when we are more mild, and we are more, in center, in touch with ourselves. But today's topic is really about realizing we are stronger than we think. I have two little examples for you today, and especially when it comes down to this topic about living right here, right now. Just recently, my neighbor passed away, and I didn't know him that super personally, as I normally tend to get close to people and really know what they are about and what their habits are. But I felt really sad, I have to say, because death is always a topic that we all have dealt with once in a while. Perhaps it's our family, perhaps it's our loved ones, perhaps it's a friend of a friend, perhaps somebody we knew from a circle or from work. However, when it happens, we tend to realize that life is short. And I want to make this very practical today because you could think, especially when it comes down to death, and it happened in my family obviously as well. And I remember when my grandmother passed away, I was super sad. I really loved her, and like we all know, grandmothers are super nice, always give you extra cash and take care of you and cheer you on. And since I was the only male and female, with my sisters, and then obviously my cousins, they were all female, so I was the only male. So my grandmother really loved me, which was obviously always nice for me to know. Okay, I have somebody who really cares about me that deeply. But what I want to tell you guys today is being grateful really comes with struggle. And I know we live in this society of overstimulation, and that the highest paid engineers in the world actually creating these addictive algorithms from social media, where social comparison is the first thing, judgment, and am I better, am I worse, and am I gonna like this, am I gonna click, what does it mean for me, becomes the new normal. And we have to always step back and remember, who am I, what's my goal, am I in charge? Because what can really quickly happen with social media and everything nowadays, especially when it comes down to topics like today, living fully, loving, with no reserves and trying to make a difference, is that when somebody dies, we feel like we are not in control. And at one point, it's really true, because we cannot influence death, although, the technology, science and progress is really progressing. And long time ago, if you think about it, and we used to be hunter gatherers. And if you were interested in this topic, by the way, I just recently bumped on Netflix on this documentary called Alone, and it's about people who go and sign up somewhere for maybe 30 to 100 days. And this particular season I was watching was where 10 people actually sign up to survive from September till December, whatever that was, in Alaska. And it really I realized as I was progressing through the season, and I was seeing the people struggling and some people leaving because of physical or mental issues, and those kind of top three that remained there, I was struck by one lady called Kali, and if I hopefully I'm not butchering her name, but she was ultra grateful, and it reminded me a lot of myself and how I approach life, and also about you because I believe everybody has their way of how they deal with life. But a lot of people don't choose positivity and optimism because they never learned better. They always thought, complaining and grinding it through and showing that I'm like angry is the way to go. But sometimes you can just lighten up the load by giving yourself the space and cutting yourself some slack and say, hey, what would actually happen if I'm a bit more positive? And gratitude is something that I feel is a bit undervalued in today's society of quick clicks, quick likes, quick shares. People tend to be out there, but not really understanding that it's not about the end result. It's about a process, it's about a journey, and it's about character, building such a solid character that nothing can break it. And that amongst everything that happens in your life, you can still keep the positive cheer. It doesn't mean won't be sad, you won't be disappointed. Of course, we all are. You get embarrassed. We are humans, but it's really about taking the ownership and saying, "Hey, I'm in charge, and I will do my best." So, in today's topic, I want to go back to the basics because what will really keep you grounded is the routines and the perseverance and those habits that a lot of people kind of drag and they think, why would I be structured? Why would I be focused? Why would I be going through the motions in this particular way? But what will really help you, in my opinion, especially when it comes down to starting today and not waiting, until tomorrow, is having this perspective. And one thing that helped me among other things in my life is to move. When it comes down to tough situation, it is necessary to really not stuck in the problem too long. It shouldn't mean that you don't feel the situation. If somebody passed away, like my neighbor or my grandmother, I was obviously sad, I was miserable, but I knew my life has to go on. What a lot of time happens is people put their life on pause because they know that, something happened here and now they are not in control because, they have to do this, they have to do that. And I absolutely agree. You should grieve, you should be miserable, you should feel sad, but you should always, always, always prioritize yourself. Always prioritize your mission. Always prioritize where you're going. Again, this is subject to change, and don't quote me on this, but we need to be really a bit selfish sometimes in terms of our focus. Because there is a lot of things, like I said, the highest paid engineers designing all these addictive algorithms, it's serving me being able to spread this mission that I believe is very important with millions and millions of people out there. But it also can cause us to be distracted and unfocused, especially when it comes down to realizing, hey, I actually don't have forever. I will maybe live until 90, maybe 100, but I need to start today. And I encourage you, when everything is working for you and when nothing is working for you, move. Moving is the central. When your body moves, your brain grooves, says Jim Kwik, and he's the brain coach, and you can probably quote him on this. I really believe that movement is the center of everything in our life. The second thing is starting living now is really about eating well. And why I'm saying and putting this as a second strategy is that a lot of people actually feel miserable in their lives and go from, all possible diets and try something here and have this whole, yo-yo, as you call it, yo-yo diet, when they diet super hard and then boom, and then they crash again for a month and then they cannot pick themselves up and then again diet super hard and crash again. It's all over the place, all over the place, and we've all been there. But as I get older, I realized easy does it, and easy does it means I will stick it out. Easy for me is to keep the habit, actually wake up every morning, wash my face, brush my teeth, because I know that the pain not doing that First, I mean, washing my face, not washing my face. If I get in front of the camera, probably you will write me a feedback. Why didn't you wash your face, and why your hair? My hair is a bit crazy anyway, but why didn't you take it? Didn't take better care of it. So you want to a little bit look at that, and you don't want to have problems with your teeth down the road and go to the dentist, every second week because they have to drill a new hole. This is why being here and now really means basics. It means embracing it and being grateful, just like this Kali lady in this survival season alone, and being just so grateful for the nature, for the animals she hunted, for the shed she built for herself, and just really embracing that life is really short, and living with your open eyes, being switched on, as I call it, really being there when you're in the conversation, be in a conversation, listen, pay attention, and be interested rather than being interesting. And the last part, what will really help you to elevate the game, is managing your thoughts. And I know I might have put this as a first one, but the thing is, so many of us are so focused on, managing everything else, but managing this. We manage our bank accounts, and we live in this time and days of self quantification, and we all have these apps and watches to track our habits and heart rates and everything, but we don't track how we feel. We are reactive rather than preventive, and especially when it comes down to topic like live now and don't wait for tomorrow, it comes down to these things. And why I'm saying it also, about managing your thoughts and managing your habits, in respect to the conversation I have been having lately with quite many people that I know in my life, who actually are brilliant human beings, educated, high achievers, yet they struggle to keep the habits in some way, or cannot motivate themselves to stick it out. And if I can, share my humble wisdom from the years of experience in the trenches and field, and competing in pro bodybuilding, pursuing competition in table tennis, playing chess also to some extent competitively, which now feels like I was a kid, and doing a lot of different things simultaneously and being quite good at it, meant for me to build a sequence of habits and just sticking them out, knowing, okay, I do this, okay, I manage it, and then I automate it. And you need to get to the automation so you can actually build your habits further. But you need to also get the first part of your habits, which means this routine, waking up every morning, setting up alarms, saying, okay, I'm happy, I'm positive, and conditioning yourself towards where you want to go. And again, it's your journey, but managing your thoughts, it's one of the best ways that will improve your life quality. Because if you have been following me for a while, and if you're new again, I want to thank you and I appreciate you. But all how I have built my life was a lot through sheer perseverance, hard work, and it won't say that I didn't have fun. I definitely had a ton of fun, but in my earlier years, I just felt like I had to survive. I come from a farmer family. My dad gave me, €50 and said, "Good luck abroad. You have fun," and obviously there are different sides to the story, but in the end, and in a nutshell, I had to work. I had to answer to the opportunity, and when I knock on the door, and hard work is what answered. So it wasn't always that I worked 100-hour work weeks, but there was a period of time where I really needed to double down on managing my thoughts, and I needed to double down on managing my positivity and building these habits. So I want to really encourage you to be smart with your time. Be smart with how you manage your thoughts, how you manage your diet. I don't really like the word diet. I like to call it lifestyle. So how you manage your lifestyle, what you eat, but I also want to manage your movement, because all these three things will actually do a magic for you. You will start feeling like you live now. A lot of people, you know and when you meaning living now, when you do that, when moving, think like, oh, I'm walking, I'm grateful, and you don't really enjoy, because I feel like we tend to take these things so much for granted, Maybe you live in a country where there is no war, but if you think about it now, we live in times where perhaps Israel, perhaps Ukraine, perhaps Syria, all of these countries are under threat and attacks, and we have refugees, we have a lot of things that are happening simultaneously in different countries, and we need to really remember our story and our origins, so where we come from and where we're going. So I hope this served you. It gave you a little foundation that life is short, but yet we have enough time. You got enough time, but you got to make it count every day. And you can start building. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know your story yet, and you don't know what's your purpose, start with the basics. Start moving every day. Walk around the block 5-10 minutes. Make sure you eat well. Make sure you fuel your body with the nutritious foods. Maybe structure your weeks in a way that you eat 80% clean, you leave alcohol, sweets, bread for the weekend, and the rest you really dial down to eat foods that fuel your energy, fuel your spirit, and fuel your mind. And then as a third part, manage your thoughts. There is one book I want to share with you today, guys, as well. It's called From Strength to Strength by Arthur C. Brooks. And this book is pretty much about how to go to the next stage with zest, because what got you here will not get you to the next stage. And this is also why I'm creating these trainings for you guys, because maybe you know all of this, and I'm pretty sure if you live in 21st century you know all of this, but the thing is, best practice is not really best habit, if you will. So a lot of things that we know we don't practice, and you need to turn it into habit, you need to turn it into obsession. And this is a lot of the part of the equation that people miss. They know all of this, they read all of these books, but they don't think how to implement that. So you want to go to the next stage, you want to go through change better, you got to change now, you got to implement that now. You're gonna take the pen and paper and say, Matteo, I'm gonna do it now. The urgency is there, but you need to find your own way. Perhaps you already do all of these things, so then ask yourself, how can you go to the next stage? How can you elevate that? How can you improve on that? And how can you add maybe fourth, fifth, and sixth point, so that you amplify those habits and it becomes like a raging inferno that keeps going? So I really hope I brought it home for you. It's clear. If you have any questions, please reach out, but also please stay motivated. Remember, your life is as good as you make it, and it will become better as you get better. So get going, improve, but also please enjoy life. I think this is probably the new way of doing things, which is a little hard, and I'm not really good at that. I think this is better. So have a great day, and I hope to see you very soon again. Thanks again for listening, and implement everything you heard. Send your feedback, and let's improve together.